You are about to learn habits that change how people respond to you without any shouting or show. This book is about steady presence, clear behavior, and practical routines that build respect, trust, and calm influence. You will hear exact actions to practice each day, breathing cues to steady your mind, posture tips that change how you carry yourself, and simple speech habits that make every word count. You will also learn how to listen so people feel truly heard, how to choose clothes and grooming that reflect self-respect, and how to handle emotion with maturity so you stay steady when others lose control. Expect short exercises you can use right away, small experiments you can do in real conversations, and simple daily routines that stack into lasting change. You will be given step-by-step moves, not vague ideas, so you can test what works and keep what fits your life. The guidance is direct and practical, and built for people who want results without drama. Notice how your breath changes now as you read. Notice the posture of your shoulders and the tone in your voice. Those are the places change begins. Through these chapters, you will practice habits that make you calmer, more reliable, and quietly magnetic. These skills help work relationships, family conversations, and first impressions. Stick with the methods that feel honest to you and repeat them until they become automatic. If you want a presence that earns respect without demanding it, this audiobook will give you the tools to build it. Stay with the full program and test the exercises as you go, because real change happens in small, steady steps, repeated over time. Chapter 1. Develop quiet confidence that draws people without effort. Confidence is not something you put on like a jacket before walking out the door. It is something that lives beneath your skin, something that quietly builds over time through choices, discipline, and understanding. Quiet confidence is not loud, not showy, and not based on being noticed. It's built on knowing who you are, trusting yourself, and not needing validation from anyone else. When you walk into a room with quiet confidence, people feel it even before you speak. It's not about trying to impress them. It's about the peace that radiates from within you because you no longer need to prove anything. Quiet confidence begins with self-awareness. Most people chase confidence by trying to appear confident. They mimic what they see in others. They force a smile, adjust their tone, talk louder, or overcompensate by being overly friendly or assertive. But that kind of confidence fades the moment things don't go as planned. True, lasting confidence grows from understanding who you are and accepting yourself fully. When you know your values, your limits, and your purpose, your mind stops trying to prove your worth to others. You stop needing permission to feel good about yourself. You stop chasing approval. And that's when people begin to notice you, not because you tried to be seen, but because your calm presence stands out in a world full of noise. To develop quiet confidence, you must begin by building a solid relationship with yourself. Spend time alone and listen to your own thoughts. Understand what makes you insecure, what triggers your anxiety, and what stories you tell yourself about who you are. Confidence grows when you stop running from those uncomfortable truths and start working through them. Many people are loud because silence scares them. They talk to fill gaps they don't want to face. But silence reveals everything: your fears, your weaknesses, and your unhealed parts. Facing them is where real growth begins. Quiet confidence is not born from pretending to be fearless. It's built from learning to live peacefully with your fears. There's a certain kind of calm that comes from experience, from seeing enough, failing enough, and getting back up enough times to know that you can handle whatever comes. That calm is quiet confidence. It doesn't need to shout or dominate. It simply exists because you've earned it. You've proven to yourself that no matter what happens, you'll adapt, recover, and move forward. The only way to develop that kind of confidence is to take action in life. Read, learn, try, fail, improve, and repeat. Every time you face discomfort, instead of running from it, you become stronger. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your trust in yourself deepens. Over time, your energy changes. You begin to move differently, speak differently, and people can feel it without you saying a word. One of the most powerful aspects of quiet confidence is emotional control. Most people lose their calm easily. Someone criticizes them and they react. Someone disagrees with them and they get defensive. Quiet confidence means you've mastered the art of restraint. You no longer let emotions control your behavior. When you're confident, you understand that not every reaction deserves your energy. You can walk away from arguments because you value your peace more than your pride. You can stay composed when others are loud because you know that power is not in volume, it's in control. People feel safe around someone who doesn't lose control easily. That safety is magnetic. It draws people in because they sense steadiness in you. Quiet confidence is that steadiness, an energy that says, no matter what happens, I am okay. If you want to become quietly confident, start by simplifying your focus. Stop trying to impress everyone. Stop comparing your journey to others. Focus on mastering small things each day. When you take care of yourself, eat well, read more, move your body, and improve your habits, confidence naturally grows. You begin to see results. You feel progress. And that progress changes your posture, your presence, and your tone. Quiet confidence is a side effect of personal discipline. It's the reward of showing up for yourself when no one else is watching. You cannot fake it. People might act confident for a few minutes, but their energy eventually reveals the truth. Real confidence stays steady, even in silence, even when no one is clapping. It's important to understand that confidence is not arrogance. Arrogance is rooted in insecurity. It's a mask people wear when they fear being seen as weak. Confident people, on the other hand, don't need to dominate or prove superiority. They understand that strength and humility can exist together. Quiet confidence is humble. It doesn't need to talk about achievements or status. It's about knowing what you're capable of and not feeling pressured to announce it. You don't need to compete with others when you know your worth. You move through life with quiet assurance, and that calmness speaks volumes. People respect it because it feels rare and genuine. One of the best ways to develop quiet confidence is through preparation. Confidence grows from competence. The more skilled you become at something, the more naturally confident you feel. Whether it's your career, your communication, or your health, invest time in learning and practicing. When you're prepared, you no longer fear being tested. You can stay calm in high-pressure situations because you know what you're doing. Preparation removes doubt. Doubt is loud. Confidence is quiet. You can't silence self-doubt with affirmations alone. You must replace it with evidence. Every small achievement you earn through discipline becomes a brick in the foundation of your confidence. And once that foundation is strong, it cannot be shaken easily. Quiet confidence also requires integrity. You cannot feel good about yourself if you constantly go against your own values. When your actions don't align with your beliefs, your mind senses that conflict, and it eats away at your self-respect. Integrity is the habit of doing what's right, even when no one is watching. When you keep your word, stay honest, and make decisions that reflect your principles, you begin to trust yourself deeply. That self-trust is the root of confidence. It tells your subconscious that you're reliable. It builds peace inside you, and people feel that peace around you. The most attractive kind of confidence is the one that radiates from a clear conscience. If you struggle with self-doubt, start with one simple habit: keep promises to yourself. Wake up when you said you would. Finish what you start. Follow through on small commitments. Every time you do, your brain learns that you can rely on yourself. That small act of consistency is what transforms you. Over time, your mind starts to believe, I am someone who follows through. That belief becomes unshakable confidence. You no longer depend on others to validate you because you already trust your own word. Quiet confidence is not built overnight. It's built moment by moment, through repetition, discipline, and self-respect. Another crucial part of developing quiet confidence is learning to be comfortable with silence. Most people talk too much because they fear being misunderstood or ignored. They think speaking constantly makes them seem confident, but it often does the opposite. Confident people know when to speak and when to listen. They don't rush to fill silence with unnecessary words. Silence is powerful because it shows that you're comfortable with yourself. You don't need to prove your worth through constant talking. You're present. You're composed. You allow others to speak, and you listen fully. That kind of presence is rare, and it naturally draws others toward you. Silence is not emptiness, it's control. The way you carry yourself physically also reflects your confidence. Stand tall, keep your shoulders back, walk with purpose, move deliberately, not hurriedly. Your body sends signals to your mind, and your posture communicates volumes to others. A straight posture, if with calm movements, tells the world that you're grounded and in control. You don't need to exaggerate it, just be aware of how you hold yourself. Confidence begins in the body before it reaches the mind. The more grounded your body feels, the calmer your thoughts become. When you're relaxed yet firm in your posture, you emit quiet authority. Another way to cultivate quiet confidence is to stop seeking attention. When you try to be noticed, you give away your power. True confidence is about being content with who you are, even when no one acknowledges you. You don't need applause or external approval to validate your worth. When you stop chasing attention, people start giving it to you naturally. Because you've detached from the need for it, your presence feels peaceful, and peace is magnetic. Confidence is not found in wanting to be seen, it's found in being fine without it. When you reach that point, your energy changes completely. You no longer compete. You simply exist with quiet certainty. Self-improvement plays a massive role in quiet confidence. The more you grow as a person, the more grounded you become. Read daily. Learn from people who inspire you. Challenge your own beliefs. Take care of your health. Build routines that strengthen your body and sharpen your mind. Every area you improve adds to your sense of self-worth. People often look for shortcuts to confidence, but it doesn't come from external tricks. It comes from doing the work consistently, even when it's boring. Confidence is built in the quiet hours of your life, the early mornings, the disciplined nights, the decisions no one sees. When you take care of yourself, confidence becomes a natural byproduct. Emotional maturity is another key part of quiet confidence. When you stop taking things personally, when you stop reacting impulsively to criticism, when you learn to stay grounded even when others lose their temper, that's when you become truly powerful. Most people waste energy trying to defend themselves or prove their point. Confident people don't. They understand that others' opinions don't define them. They listen, process, and respond with calm logic. When you reach that level of emotional steadiness, you become someone others trust and admire. They know that no matter what happens, you'll handle it with grace. That's quiet strength, the kind that doesn't need to shout to be heard. It's also important to understand that quiet confidence doesn't mean being emotionless or distant. It's about balance. It means knowing when to express yourself and when to stay silent. It means being kind without being weak, assertive without being aggressive. Confidence allows you to be fully yourself without apology. You can express emotions without being consumed by them. You can connect deeply with others without losing your sense of self. This balance is what makes you quietly magnetic. People feel both your warmth and your strength, and they're drawn to that combination. When you practice quiet confidence, you also attract higher quality relationships. People who are loud, insecure, or manipulative tend to fade away because your calm energy doesn't feed their chaos. Instead, you begin to attract others who value peace, depth, and authenticity. You form connections built on mutual respect, not competition. Your relationships become stronger because you no longer depend on others to make you feel worthy. You give from a place of fullness, not need. That shift changes every part of your life: friendships, family, work, and love. Over time, quiet confidence becomes your natural state. You no longer wake up worrying about what others think. You stop overanalyzing conversations or replaying mistakes in your mind. You live more freely because you trust yourself. You accept imperfection because you know progress is enough. You find beauty in simplicity because you no longer chase validation. That's the peace most people are searching for, though they often look in the wrong places. It's not found in attention, success, or recognition. It's found in the quiet strength you build within. If you want to start building quiet confidence today, begin small. Wake up early and do one thing that strengthens your mind. Read something meaningful. Move your body. Reflect on your day without judgment. Avoid gossip. Speak with purpose. Spend time alone without distractions. Keep your promises. Repeat this daily. Confidence grows in the repetition of self-respect. There's no secret formula, just consistent effort. Every day you choose discipline over comfort. You reinforce your belief in yourself. That belief becomes the calm, steady energy that people feel when they meet you. You won't need to tell anyone you're confident. They'll see it. They'll feel it. Quiet confidence is not about being perfect. It's about being authentic, disciplined, and emotionally balanced. It's about knowing that your worth doesn't depend on others' opinions. It's about living with integrity, treating yourself with respect, and handling life's challenges with calm strength. When you reach that level of self-understanding, you no longer need to chase admiration, it finds you. You walk into a room, and people notice, not because you demand their attention, but because you carry something rare: peace, presence, and certainty. The journey to quiet confidence never ends. It's something you cultivate every day, with every decision, every thought, and every habit. It's the way you show up for yourself, even when no one is watching. It's the discipline to act with integrity, the courage to face discomfort, and the humility to keep learning. Quiet confidence isn't about doing more. It's about being more grounded, more self-aware, more present. When you live that way, you naturally attract respect, trust, and admiration without effort. You become a source of calm in a restless world. In the end, quiet confidence is not about impressing others, it's about mastering yourself. When you truly know who you are, when you can stand alone with peace in your heart, when you can stay calm in storms and kind in chaos, that's when you become silently attractive. That's when your presence speaks louder than words. That's when your life becomes your message. And that message is simple. Strength doesn't need noise. It needs consistency, integrity, and self-respect. When you build that within you, you will never have to chase attention again. The world will see your light, not because you demand it, but because you earned it. Chapter 2. Master calm body language that speaks louder than words. Body language is the unspoken language of human connection. It communicates what words often fail to express. Every movement, gesture, and expression sends a signal about who you are, how you feel, and how you carry yourself in the world. Calm body language has the power to make you silently magnetic. It speaks to others before you open your mouth. It tells them that you are grounded, composed, and in control of yourself. People sense stability in your presence, and that sense of control creates trust and respect instantly. When you master calm body language, you no longer have to seek approval or attention. You earn it naturally through your energy and composure. Your body reflects your inner state. When your mind is restless, your movements are scattered. When your thoughts are anxious, your posture tightens. People may not always understand what you're thinking, but they can feel what you're feeling. This is why learning to regulate your body language begins with mastering your inner calm. Confidence is not about standing tall for show, it's about being at peace within yourself. When you are calm inside, your posture, breathing, and gestures align with that peace. Your shoulders relax, your movements become slower and more deliberate, and your presence becomes steady. That steadiness tells the world that you are not easily shaken. It shows quiet strength without words. The first step toward mastering calm body language is awareness. Most people are unaware of how they move or appear to others. They slouch without realizing it, fidget when nervous, and avoid eye contact when insecure. Pay attention to how your body reacts in different situations. Notice how you sit when you're confident versus when you're anxious. Observe how your breathing changes when you're under pressure. Awareness allows you to understand what your body communicates even when you say nothing. Once you recognize these patterns, you can start to adjust them intentionally. Small changes, practiced consistently, create a powerful difference in how others perceive you. Posture is one of the most visible aspects of body language. A calm, confident posture signals self-assurance instantly. Stand with your spine straight and shoulders slightly back. Keep your chin level, not raised too high or dropped too low. This position shows balance. You're neither trying to dominate nor submit. It projects quiet authority. Avoid exaggerated gestures or forced poses. True confidence is subtle. It doesn't need to prove itself. When you move naturally but with control, you convey that you are comfortable in your own skin. That comfort attracts others because it's rare and reassuring. Your eyes communicate more than your words ever will. Eye contact is the bridge between your inner world and the people around you. Calm, steady eye contact shows that you are attentive, honest, and unafraid. It doesn't mean staring intensely. It means looking at people with presence and respect. When you speak, look into their eyes long enough to show sincerity, then break naturally. When you listen, maintain gentle focus without distraction. Avoid darting eyes or scanning the room. It signals nervousness or disinterest. When your gaze is steady but kind, people feel understood. They feel seen, and that builds trust. Calm eyes reveal emotional balance, and that's a rare kind of attractiveness. Your facial expressions should reflect openness and ease. A relaxed face makes others feel comfortable in your presence. When your expression is tense or forced, people sense discomfort and mirror it. Keep your facial muscles soft. Allow a slight, genuine smile when appropriate, not one that seeks approval, but one that conveys warmth. A calm expression doesn't mean emotionless, it means present and composed. You don't have to exaggerate your emotions to be understood. You can express interest, empathy, and confidence through subtle cues. The key is authenticity. People can feel when your expression matches your emotion. That alignment makes your communication trustworthy and magnetic. Breathing is the anchor of calm body language. Shallow, rapid breaths signal stress, while slow, deep breathing projects composure. Before you walk into a room, take a moment to breathe deeply. It slows your heart rate and grounds your energy. When you breathe calmly, your movements become smoother, your tone softer, and your presence stronger. During conversations, maintain steady breathing. This prevents rushed speech and restless gestures. It shows that you are relaxed and in control. People naturally mirror your rhythm, so your calm breathing can influence the emotional tone of an entire interaction. Movement is another powerful form of non-verbal communication. Move slowly and with purpose. Quick, jerky motions suggest anxiety or impatience. Calm movements show patience, focus, and self-control. When you walk, do so at a measured pace, not hurried. When you reach for something, do it with awareness, not haste. The The way you handle even small actions, pouring a drink, shaking hands, sitting down, reveals how much control you have over yourself. Composed movements demonstrate that your energy is centered. They show maturity and quiet confidence. People notice this subtle grace, and it leaves a lasting impression. Gestures are an extension of your thoughts. Use them intentionally, not excessively. When you speak, let your hands move naturally to emphasize meaning, but avoid overuse. Too much movement distracts and weakens your presence. The most confident individuals use gestures sparingly and deliberately. Their stillness commands more attention than unnecessary motion. When you hold yourself with stillness, people sense that you are self-contained, not seeking external validation. That stillness becomes your strength. It creates a feeling of stability around you. Calm body language also comes from how you occupy space. People who lack confidence tend to shrink themselves, crossing arms, hunching shoulders, or keeping movements minimal. Confident people claim space naturally without being overbearing. When sitting, take a comfortable amount of space. Relax your arms by your side. Avoid defensive postures like folding arms tightly or hiding your hands. Keeping your body open signals honesty and ease. It tells others that you are approachable and comfortable. The balance lies in openness without exaggeration, grounded, yet relaxed. Your tone of voice completes your physical presence. It's not only what you say, but how you say it. Speak at a calm pace with clear articulation. Avoid speaking too quickly or too softly. A steady tone shows clarity and confidence. When you pause before answering, it shows thoughtfulness. People associate calm voices with leadership and reliability. You don't need to be loud to be heard. The tone of your voice, paired with calm posture and steady eyes, communicates far more than volume ever could. It tells others that you are composed and certain about your message. To strengthen calm body language, observe others who embody it. Watch people who exude natural authority and grace. Notice how they move, how they listen, how they respond. They don't rush or fidget. They have presence, an energy that fills a space quietly. They're not loud, but people notice them. Study that stillness and bring it into your daily behavior. Practice being aware of your presence in every situation at work, in conversation, or while walking alone. Over time, this awareness becomes instinctive. You start carrying yourself with the calm of someone who knows their worth without needing to announce it. Maintaining calm body language also means mastering emotional composure. When frustration or nervousness arises, don't let it control your movements. Pause, breathe, and choose your response. When you feel pressure, slow down your actions instead of rushing. When you feel criticized, keep your body relaxed and your voice steady. This kind of control is what people interpret as strength. The ability to stay calm in tense moments communicates confidence louder than any words. It shows that you're not ruled by emotions, but guided by reason. In social settings, calm body language makes you magnetic because it signals security. People gravitate toward those who make them feel safe. When your body expresses ease, others subconsciously relax. They trust your presence because you project balance. Your calm energy becomes contagious. It draws people in not through performance, but through peace. That is the essence of silent attractiveness, the ability to influence without effort. You don't force attention. It arrives naturally because people feel better around you. Calm body language is also a form of self-respect. The way you move through the world reflects how you see yourself. If you treat your body as an instrument of strength and poise, others will respond accordingly. Every step, every gesture, becomes a reflection of your inner discipline. Even when no one is watching, carry yourself with dignity. That consistent behavior shapes your character. It's not about pretending to be confident. It's about embodying confidence through presence and control. Practice calm body language daily. Start your morning by standing tall, breathing deeply, and aligning your body with intention. During conversations, slow your pace, hold eye contact, and allow pauses. At the end of the day, reflect on moments when your body felt tense or rushed. Adjust and improve. Over time, calmness becomes your default state. You no longer have to think about how to move or act. Your body naturally mirrors your inner steadiness. Mastering calm body language is not about perfection, it's about alignment. When your mind, emotions, and body move in harmony, you project a rare kind of peace. You become someone others respect and remember, not because of what you said, but because of how you carried yourself. Your stillness, your focus, your composed energy all speak louder than words ever could. This is the art of silent influence. It is power without noise, confidence without display, and strength without effort. When you embody that, the world listens even in your silence. Chapter 3. Listen with full attention to make others feel valued. Listening with full attention is one of the rarest and most powerful forms of human connection. Most people think they listen, but what they actually do is wait for their turn to speak. True listening is not just hearing words, it is understanding the person behind them. It means giving someone your complete presence without judgment, without rushing to respond, and without trying to control the conversation. When you listen with full attention, you make others feel seen, heard, and respected, and that is something few people ever experience. That feeling builds trust, admiration, and emotional safety. People are naturally drawn to those who make them feel understood. That is why genuine listening is one of the most silently attractive traits a person can possess. To listen fully, you must, first, silence the noise inside your own mind. Most of the time, people listen while thinking, analyzing, planning, or forming a reply. They don't truly hear what's being said because their focus is split between the other person's words and their own inner dialogue. Listening is an act of self-control. It requires patience and discipline to stay present and set your own thoughts aside. When someone is speaking to you, focus entirely on them, not your phone, not the background, not your next thought. Look at them, pay attention to their tone, and notice their body language. Listening isn't just about words, it's about the emotion behind them. When you give your full focus, people can feel it. That kind of presence is rare and magnetic. A powerful listener understands that attention is one of the greatest gifts you can offer. It costs nothing but means everything. When you truly listen, you tell the other person, "You matter." That simple message can change how they see themselves. Many people move through life feeling ignored or unseen, so when someone finally listens to them with patience and care, it leaves a deep mark. Listening is not about agreeing or fixing. It's about allowing another human being to express themselves freely without interruption. Sometimes the most helpful thing you can do is simply be there and listen. You don't need to have all the answers, you just need to be present. To listen with full attention, practice slowing down. Conversations often move too quickly because people rush to respond. Give pauses after someone speaks. Allow their words to sink in before replying. Silence is not awkward, it's respectful. It shows that you value their words enough to consider them carefully. Rushing to speak can make you seem impatient or self-focused. Calm listeners, on the other hand, give people space to express themselves fully. When you slow down, the quality of your communication changes. You begin to notice details you would have missed before: a shift in tone, a moment of hesitation, a word that carries emotion. These small details often reveal what the other person truly means, and responding to them with understanding creates a powerful bond. When you listen deeply, your body language plays an important role. Face the person you're speaking with. Keep your posture open and relaxed. Make gentle eye contact to show that you're engaged. Avoid crossing your arms, looking around, or checking your phone. These small distractions send the message that your attention is divided. True listening is about making the other person feel like, at that moment, they are the only one who matters. You don't need to exaggerate your reactions. Subtle signs like nodding, maintaining steady eye contact, or leaning slightly forward communicate interest far more effectively. Your calm, focused energy encourages others to open up naturally. Listening also requires humility. Many people listen only to respond or prove themselves right. They treat conversations as competitions instead of connections. When you listen with humility, you drop the need to be correct or superior. You allow yourself to learn from others, even when you disagree. Every person you meet knows something you don't. When you approach conversations with that mindset, you start to see every interaction as an opportunity to grow. You become curious instead of defensive. You ask thoughtful questions instead of making assumptions. This kind of humble listening doesn't just make you a better communicator, it makes you wiser. To develop the habit of full attention, practice being present in everyday interactions. When someone talks to you, focus only on their words and expressions. If your mind drifts, gently bring it back. It's normal for thoughts to wander. What matters is how quickly you return to the moment. You can also improve your listening skills by spending time in silence. When you practice stillness, your mind becomes more capable of staying focused during conversations. Distraction weakens presence, and presence is the foundation of genuine listening. The more you practice being still, the stronger your attention becomes. Empathy is the emotional side of listening. It's the ability to step into another person's perspective and feel what they might be feeling. Empathetic listeners don't judge or rush to fix. They listen to understand. They allow others to share their truth, even when it's uncomfortable. Empathy builds trust because it tells people they are safe to be real with you. To listen with empathy, pay attention to the feelings behind the words. Sometimes people say one thing but mean another. If you listen closely, you'll sense the emotion they're trying to express. Respond to that emotion, not just the words. A simple acknowledgement like, "I can see why that mattered to you," or "that sounds really difficult," can mean more than a long speech. It shows care, and that care leaves a lasting impression. Listening with full attention also means managing your reactions. When you disagree, resist the urge to interrupt or argue immediately. Let the other person finish their thought completely. This doesn't mean you have to agree with them. It means you respect their right to express themselves. When you react too quickly, you close the door to understanding. When you listen patiently, you open space for dialogue and clarity. Calm listeners create calm conversations. They bring balance where others bring conflict. That emotional steadiness becomes one of their most attractive qualities. In group settings, full attention is even more important. Many people fade into background noise because no one really listens to them. When you are the person who does, you stand out. You become someone others gravitate toward. You don't have to dominate discussions. Your attentiveness alone makes people feel valued. They begin to associate your presence with understanding and respect. This builds credibility and influence without effort. You don't win people over by speaking more. You win them by making them feel heard. Listening with attention also teaches you about yourself. When you truly listen, you become aware of your own biases, judgments, and emotional triggers. You start to notice how often your mind wants to interrupt or defend. This awareness is powerful because it helps you grow emotionally. The better you understand yourself, the better you can understand others. Listening becomes not just a social skill, but a path to self-improvement. It teaches patience, compassion, and mindfulness qualities that enrich every area of life. Listening requires energy, but it also gives energy back. When you connect deeply with others, you experience fulfillment that surface-level conversations can't provide. You begin to appreciate people more, their stories, struggles, and perspectives. You become more understanding and less reactive. That inner calm reflects outward, strengthening your relationships and social presence. People feel your sincerity, and sincerity is deeply attractive. It makes you memorable in a quiet but powerful way. One way to strengthen your listening habit is by practicing reflection after conversations. Think about what you learned, how the person felt, and how you responded. Ask yourself whether you were truly present or if you drifted into your own thoughts. This self-awareness helps you improve over time. Every conversation becomes practice for mastering presence. As you grow more skilled, your interactions will become smoother, deeper, and more meaningful. When you listen with full attention, you don't just understand others better, you help them understand themselves. Many times, people don't need advice, they just need someone to hold space for their thoughts. Your calm attention acts like a mirror that helps them process their emotions and gain clarity. They leave the conversation feeling lighter and more understood, and they associate that positive feeling with you. That's the essence of being silently attractive. Your presence leaves people feeling better than before they met you. Listening may seem simple, but it requires practice, patience, and emotional maturity. It's not something you master in a day, it's something you cultivate for life. Every time you choose to listen fully instead of speaking hastily, you strengthen your self-control and deepen your understanding of human nature. Over time, you'll notice that people trust you more, confide in you more, and value your presence more. You'll no longer have to demand attention because your attentiveness will command it naturally. To listen with full attention is to honor others. It's a reflection of respect, emotional strength, and inner calm. When you make others feel valued, you build bonds that no charm or appearance can replace. You create an invisible connection that lingers long after the conversation ends. And in a world where most people talk but few truly listen, being the one who listens sets you apart in the most powerful and graceful way possible. Chapter 4. Speak less, but say meaningful things that leave impact. Speaking less is not about silence, it's about discipline. Words carry power, and when you learn to use them with precision, they begin to work for you instead of against you. People who talk too much often lose credibility because their words become background noise. But those who speak less and choose their words carefully are remembered. Their sentences carry weight because they're not wasted. They speak with intention, not impulse. They don't talk to fill silence or seek validation. They talk to communicate something real, something thoughtful, something worth saying. When your words have purpose, they gain authority. People lean in when you speak because they know what comes out of your mouth has value. The ability to speak less but say more begins with self-control. Most people speak reactively. They respond before thinking, often just to express emotion or to feel heard. But meaningful communication requires pause. It requires a moment to process, to understand, to decide if speaking even adds value. Before you talk, ask yourself, is this necessary? Is it true? And is it kind? If the answer to any of those questions is no, silence is the better choice. Restraint is not weakness, it's wisdom. It shows that you are in control of your emotions and that you respect the power of your voice. When you speak only when you have something meaningful to say, your words begin to command attention effortlessly. When you say less, you create space for others to listen more closely. People are drawn to mystery, and quiet individuals naturally evoke curiosity. They want to know what you think because you don't reveal it easily. This creates an aura of quiet authority. You don't have to be loud to be heard. You just have to be thoughtful. Every word becomes intentional. Every sentence holds purpose. Speaking less also helps you conserve energy. You don't waste time explaining, defending, or gossiping. Instead, you focus your communication on clarity and truth. That focus sharpens your message and your presence becomes stronger. To make your words meaningful, think deeply before you speak. Take time to form your thoughts clearly. A calm, measured response always holds more weight than a rushed one. When you speak too quickly, your words lose impact because they sound unfiltered. When you speak with patience, your voice carries calm assurance. The pause between your thoughts and your words is where your power lies. It's where wisdom has a chance to enter. That moment of silence before speaking allows your words to come from understanding instead of reaction. People can feel the difference between noise and depth. One is easy to ignore, the other is impossible to forget. Meaningful communication also depends on sincerity. When you speak, say what you truly believe, not what you think others want to hear. People respect honesty even when they disagree with it. They sense authenticity through tone and choice of words. Empty compliments or exaggerated opinions might please people temporarily, but they don't leave a lasting impact. Speak truthfully, but with care. Truth without compassion can wound, and compassion without truth can mislead. The combination of both creates integrity, and integrity gives your voice weight. When your words reflect both honesty and kindness, people begin to trust your character, not just your speech. To say meaningful things, you must listen deeply first. Meaningful words come from understanding, and understanding comes from listening. When you pay attention to others, you gain insight into what matters to them. That insight allows you to speak to their hearts instead of just their ears. Thoughtful people don't talk to impress, they talk to connect. Their words are guided by empathy. They understand timing, when to speak, what to say, and when to hold back. The goal is not to dominate a conversation, but to contribute something that adds clarity, perspective, or encouragement. That's how you make words meaningful, by using them to lift, not to clutter. The tone of your voice also affects how your words are received. Speak calmly and confidently, without rushing. A steady tone communicates self-assurance. It tells others that you are in control of your emotions and confident in your message. Avoid raising your voice to make a point. When you stay calm, people are more likely to listen. Calmness gives your words authority because it shows mastery of self. The more grounded your tone, the more people will take your message seriously. Speaking softly but clearly draws attention naturally. People lean in when they sense you don't need to shout to be heard. Another element of meaningful communication is brevity. Say what needs to be said and nothing more. When you add unnecessary details or repeat yourself, your message loses strength. Short, clear statements carry more impact than long explanations. This doesn't mean being cold or abrupt, it means being precise. Remove the excess and keep only the truth. Brevity is respect for other people's time and attention. It shows confidence in your message. People remember phrases that are simple yet profound. The more concise your words, the longer they stay in the mind of the listener. Meaningful communication also comes from speaking from experience. When you share what you've learned through action, not theory, people feel your authenticity. They trust your words because they sense that they're rooted in real understanding. You don't need to talk about everything you know, just what you've lived and truly believe. When you speak from experience, your tone carries sincerity and conviction. It doesn't sound rehearsed. It sounds human. Experience gives your words texture, and that texture leaves a deeper mark. Silence is a powerful part of meaningful speech. It gives your words room to breathe. Many people underestimate the value of pauses in conversation. Silence after a statement lets your words sink in. It gives others time to reflect and absorb meaning. In those quiet moments, people feel the weight of what was said. Silence is not emptiness, it's space where understanding grows. It shows that you don't fear stillness, you own it. Those who can use silence well are perceived as confident and thoughtful. It's not the number of words that impress people, it's the intention behind them and the strength of your stillness between them. To speak meaningfully, focus on clarity rather than complexity. Avoid using big words or vague expressions to sound smart. Real intelligence lies in making difficult ideas simple, not the other way around. Speak in a way that anyone can understand. Clear communication connects people, complicated language creates distance. When you speak simply and directly, people feel comfortable around you. They sense honesty in your clarity. Words are tools, not ornaments. Use them to build understanding, not to decorate your ego. Speaking less also helps you avoid unnecessary conflict. When you say only what's important, you reduce the chance of saying something you'll regret. Many arguments begin not because of what was meant, but because of what was said carelessly. Pausing before speaking gives you time to consider whether your words will help or harm. If what you're about to say doesn't improve the situation, silence often does. Restraint is a quiet strength. It shows that your emotions do not control your tongue. That control builds respect both from others and from yourself. Meaningful communication is about contribution. Each time you speak, ask yourself whether your words serve a purpose. Do they inform, inspire, or bring peace? If not, perhaps they don't need to be said. Words are like currency. The more wisely you spend them, the more value they hold. When you waste them, their worth decreases. Protect your speech the way you protect your energy. Use it only when it serves truth, growth, or kindness. The fewer unnecessary words you use, the more your necessary ones stand out. In professional and personal life, people remember not how much you spoke, but how your words made them feel. If your words make people think, reflect, or grow, they leave an imprint. If your words bring calm during tension, they become memorable. Impact is not created by volume, it's created by intention. A short phrase delivered at the right moment can change how someone sees themselves. A calm response during chaos can shift the entire atmosphere of a room. That is the kind of power that comes from measured speech. Speaking less but saying more requires inner peace. When your mind is restless, you feel the urge to fill silence with noise. When your mind is calm, you understand that silence communicates strength. The less you say, the more people notice when you speak. The more thoughtful your words, the more they resonate. Mastering this balance takes time, but it's worth it. Because once you learn to control your speech, you begin to control your impact. You start influencing others not through persuasion, but through presence. When you reach that point, your voice becomes something people remember, not because you spoke often, but because you spoke with meaning. Your words carry dignity, restraint, and truth. You don't chase attention, you attract it. You don't dominate conversations, you elevate them. That's the essence of silent influence, communicating in a way that lingers long after you've stopped speaking. It's the ability to leave an impact not by talking more, but by meaning more. And when you reach that level of awareness, your speech becomes an instrument of strength, wisdom, and quiet power. Chapter 5. Dress with simplicity and care to express self-respect. The way you dress is a reflection of how much you respect yourself. It is one of the simplest, yet most powerful ways to communicate who you are without saying a word. People often mistake fashion for vanity, but dressing well is not about impressing others, it's about showing that you care about yourself. When you take time to present yourself neatly, you are sending a silent message that you value your appearance, your health, and your dignity. You're not trying to stand out through flashiness, you're standing tall through self-respect. Simplicity and care in how you dress show that you live with intention, that you understand the quiet language of presence. Clothing is energy. The way fabric sits on your body, the way colors match your tone, and the way your outfit fits your posture. These things influence how you move and how you feel about yourself. When your appearance is clean, balanced, and comfortable, you carry yourself with ease. There's a certain calm confidence that comes from knowing you've taken time to present yourself properly. You don't need expensive clothes or designer labels. You need awareness. Awareness of what fits you, what represents your character, and what makes you feel aligned with your best self. That is the art of dressing with simplicity and care. Simplicity in dress is not about being plain, it's about being clear. It's removing excess and distraction so that your personality can speak without noise. Simplicity means you understand that the person wearing the clothes matters more than the clothes themselves. You're not hiding behind trends. You're choosing authenticity over attention-seeking. A clean shirt, well-fitted pants, tidy shoes, and good grooming can do more for your confidence than any expensive outfit. When you look put together, you send a message that you're organized, disciplined, and proud of who you are. It's not arrogance, it's self-respect. Care is what transforms clothing into self-expression. Anyone can throw something on, but people who dress with care take time to think about how they want to show up in the world. They check their clothes for neatness, ensure they are clean and pressed, and choose colors that reflect their energy for the day. These may seem like small things, but they build character. Care in appearance shows that you're mindful, that you don't take yourself for granted. It tells the world that you treat your life like something worth maintaining. That small act of effort ripples into every area of your existence, your work, your relationships, your confidence. The goal is not perfection, it's presence. When you take time to prepare yourself each morning, you're not just dressing your body, you're preparing your mindset. You're setting the tone for the day ahead. When you see yourself looking neat and well-groomed, your mind starts to align with confidence and focus. You behave differently when you feel good about how you look. You stand taller, speak clearer, and make decisions with more certainty. People often underestimate how much physical appearance affects emotional energy. Dressing with care creates a mental environment of order and self-belief. Simplicity in style often reflects inner stability. People who are confident and grounded don't need to over-decorate themselves to feel noticed. Their strength shows in restraint. They choose clothes that fit their body and lifestyle, not what others expect them to wear. Their appearance says, "I know who I am." Simplicity also saves mental energy. When your wardrobe is built around clean, timeless pieces that you actually love, you spend less time worrying about what to wear. You reduce decision fatigue and start your day with calm clarity. This kind of simplicity is not about lack, it's about focus. Dressing with care also builds credibility. Whether in personal or professional settings, people form impressions based on how you present yourself. It's not about judgment, it's human psychology. Neatness signals reliability, attention to detail, and self-control. When you meet someone who dresses cleanly and simply, you subconsciously associate them with competence and trustworthiness. You don't need to look perfect, but you do need to look like you care. Neglect in appearance often suggests neglect in other areas of life. When you put care into your appearance, it shows you put care into your habits, your work, and your relationships. The condition of your clothes matters more than the brand. A simple, well-maintained outfit looks far more respectable than something expensive but messy. Iron your clothes, polish your shoes, and make sure everything fits well. Fit is often overlooked, yet it's the foundation of looking good. Clothes that are too loose or too tight distort posture and make you look uncomfortable. A well-fitted outfit, even if it's plain, communicates self-awareness. It shows you understand your body and what complements it. This attention to detail silently communicates confidence without a single word. Grooming is a key part of dressing with care. Clean hair, trimmed nails, fresh breath, and good hygiene are fundamental. These are not luxury habits, they are signs of self-respect. Taking care of your body tells the world that you value your own well-being. You're not seeking validation, you're simply honoring yourself. It's also an act of kindness toward others because good grooming shows consideration. You're saying, I respect your space enough to bring my best self into it. The smallest habits, washing your face, keeping your clothes fresh, smelling pleasant, build an image of discipline and dignity. Color choice also speaks volumes. Neutral, balanced tones often communicate calmness and confidence. Bright colors can express an energy and optimism, while darker tones reflect depth and focus. The goal is not to copy trends, but to find what represents your energy authentically. When your colors align with your character, your appearance becomes a natural extension of who you are. People feel that harmony, even if they can't explain it. That subtle harmony is what makes your presence feel effortless yet memorable. Your clothing should serve your purpose, not distract from it. Choose outfits that allow you to move freely and feel comfortable while maintaining neatness. Confidence grows when you're not constantly adjusting your clothes or worrying about how you look. Comfort builds calm, and calmness amplifies presence. The best outfit is one you forget you're wearing because it feels right. When you're at ease in your clothes, your attention shifts outward. You become more engaged, more open, more alive. People sense that natural ease and are drawn to it. Dressing with simplicity also reduces the temptation to compare yourself to others. You stop measuring your worth by external appearance and focus instead on authenticity. When you know your style, you no longer chase approval. You wear what represents your personality, not someone else's idea of perfection. That quiet certainty becomes magnetic. People admire those who know themselves enough to be consistent in their appearance. It shows strength of identity and independence of mind. Simplicity is sustainable. A small wardrobe filled with high-quality, versatile items serves you better than a closet full of clutter. Fewer choices mean more clarity. When every piece you own fits, feels good, and looks good, getting dressed becomes effortless. This consistency creates order in your daily life. Every time you put on something that aligns with your values, you reinforce self-discipline. Over time, this discipline expands beyond clothing. It shapes how you handle every decision. Caring for your clothes is another quiet expression of self-respect. Wash them properly, fold them neatly, and store them carefully. This simple discipline trains your mind to value maintenance over replacement. It builds patience and gratitude for what you have. People who care for their belongings tend to care for themselves and others with the same attention. You start to realize that care is a universal language. It shows through your words, your actions, and your appearance. When you dress with simplicity and care, you carry calm energy into the world. People respond differently to you because your appearance tells them something before you even speak. You look approachable but composed, humble but confident. They feel your self-respect through your presence. It doesn't shout for attention, it commands it through order, cleanliness, and grace. You become someone who doesn't need to explain who they are because it's already clear. Every morning, when you dress yourself, you're making a choice about how you want to be perceived and how you want to feel. That simple act of dressing is a ritual of self-preparation. It's not vanity, it's awareness. It's saying to yourself, I respect my life enough to show up fully. Over time, this habit builds inner pride. You begin to carry that same care into how you speak, how you work, and how you treat others. Dressing well becomes a reminder that you are capable, deserving, and worthy of being your best self. When you understand this, clothes stop being mere fabric, they become symbols of self-worth. Simplicity reminds you to focus on what matters. Care reminds you to be intentional in everything you do. Together, they form a quiet strength that others can feel. You don't have to say a word for people to notice your confidence. They see it in the way you stand, the way you move, the way you've prepared yourself. That is the essence of silent attractiveness. It's not about being noticed, it's about being remembered for your calm, your discipline, and your quiet self-respect. Chapter 6. Maintain calm energy that makes others feel at ease. Calm energy is one of the most powerful forms of presence a person can develop. It is the quiet strength that steadies a room, the invisible balance that helps others feel safe and grounded. People are drawn to calm energy because it signals emotional stability. In a world filled with anxiety and noise, calmness feels like a breath of fresh air. It shows that you have control over yourself, that you do not allow external chaos to disturb your inner balance. When you maintain calm energy, you naturally make others feel at ease. They sense that you are someone they can trust, someone who won't overreact, and someone whose presence brings peace instead of tension. Calm energy starts from within. It cannot be faked, and it cannot be forced. It grows out of consistent self-awareness and emotional discipline. You cultivate it by learning how to manage your reactions, how to breathe through discomfort, and how to stay steady when life feels uncertain. Calmness doesn't mean being detached or emotionless. It means responding with clarity instead of reacting with chaos. When you practice inner calm, your external energy becomes soothing, even in difficult situations. People around you feel it, even without understanding why. They can tell that your emotions are under your command, not the other way around. The first step to maintaining calm energy is mastering your breathing. Your breath is the anchor of your nervous system. When your breathing is shallow, your mind becomes restless. When it's steady, your thoughts slow down. Take slow, deliberate breaths throughout the day. Inhale deeply, exhale fully, and allow your body to relax. This simple practice resets your energy instantly. It reminds your body that you are safe and in control. When you speak or move from this state of calm breathing, your tone softens, your gestures become smoother, and your entire presence feels centered. People subconsciously mirror that energy. The calmer you are, the calmer they become. Maintaining calm energy also requires emotional intelligence. You need to be aware of your triggers, the situations or people that make you feel irritated, impatient, or defensive. Once you identify them, you can prepare yourself mentally. You don't have to let those emotions control your actions. When frustration arises, take a pause instead of reacting. That brief pause is where your power lies. It gives you space to choose how you want to respond. Over time, this habit strengthens your self-control. The more you practice it, the more your energy remains consistent, no matter what's happening around you. People feel stability in your presence because they know you won't lose balance easily. Calm energy communicates confidence without words. When you remain composed under pressure, it shows maturity. It shows that you trust yourself enough to handle whatever comes your way. This quiet confidence creates comfort in others because they feel that they don't have to walk on eggshells around you. Your steadiness becomes a grounding force. You bring clarity when things feel uncertain. You bring patience when others are rushed. You bring understanding when emotions run high. That kind of presence doesn't go unnoticed. It builds respect. People remember how you made them feel, and calm energy always leaves a mark of reassurance. To cultivate calm energy, you must learn the art of detachment. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop clinging. You understand that not everything deserves a reaction. You don't take every comment personally, and you don't let every challenge shake your peace. You realize that you can't control how others behave, but you can control how you respond. This understanding gives you emotional freedom. You begin to move through life with ease because you no longer let external events dictate your mood. Calmness grows in the space between stimulus and response. That space is your strength. The more you expand it, the more peaceful you become. Your daily habits play a huge role in your energy. What you feed your mind determines how stable your emotions are. Surround yourself with calm influences, music, nature, books, or people who inspire peace. Limit exposure to negativity, gossip, and constant noise. When your environment supports tranquility, your energy naturally reflects it. Even small habits like keeping your space clean or spending a few quiet moments each morning can shift your mental state. Calmness is not something you find once, it's something you create daily through conscious choices. Each act of mindfulness strengthens your foundation. Your body language is another expression of your energy. Calm energy shows through relaxed posture, steady eye contact, and measured movements. When you move slowly and deliberately, you communicate confidence and self-control. Avoid fidgeting, crossing your arms tightly, or showing tension in your face. Keep your shoulders relaxed and your gestures fluid. Your body speaks before your words do, and calm body language makes people feel safe around you. They sense that you are grounded and emotionally balanced. That sense of safety draws them closer and makes communication easier and more meaningful. Calm energy also depends on how you handle challenges. When problems arise, instead of reacting with panic, focus on understanding the situation clearly. Ask yourself, what is within your control? Direct your attention there and let go of the rest. Worrying doesn't fix anything, it drains energy. Calmness gives you perspective. It helps you think rationally when others are overwhelmed. It allows you to see solutions instead of obstacles. People naturally trust those who stay composed under pressure because composure signals competence. When you maintain calm energy, you don't just protect your own peace. You become a source of stability for others. Maintaining calm energy also requires emotional balance in relationships. When people are upset or emotional, your calmness can help them regulate their feelings. Instead of matching their intensity, you can lower yours and invite them into that calm space. This doesn't mean you suppress emotion, it means you guide it with understanding. When someone is angry, respond with patience. When someone is anxious, respond with reassurance. When someone is negative, respond with neutrality. You can't control their emotions, but you can influence their energy through your own steadiness. Over time, people begin to associate you with peace because you don't add chaos to their emotions. One of the greatest obstacles to calmness is overthinking. The mind loves to dwell on the past and anticipate the future, creating unnecessary stress. Calm energy comes from staying present. Focus on what is happening right now, not what might happen later. When your attention stays in the forward present, your mind has less room to create anxiety. Mindfulness practices like deep breathing, journaling, or simply observing your surroundings help strengthen this ability. The more you practice presence, the more natural calmness becomes. It stops being something you try to maintain and starts being who you are. Calm energy is built through acceptance. You can't control every outcome, and you can't predict every situation. The more you accept this truth, the more peace you feel. Acceptance is not giving up. It's understanding that some things are beyond your influence. When you stop resisting what you can't change, you save energy for what truly matters. This shift brings deep peace because you no longer fight reality. You move with life instead of against it. That kind of acceptance is what people feel as calm strength. It's quiet, unshakable, and deeply comforting. To maintain calm energy, take care of your body. Physical tension often mirrors emotional stress. Regular movement, stretching, and rest keep your energy balanced. Eat foods that support mental clarity and hydration. Sleep enough to restore your mind. When your body is calm, your emotions are easier to manage. Neglecting physical well-being often leads to irritability and restlessness. Your physical and emotional states are connected, so tending to one supports the other. A calm body creates a calm mind, and a calm mind radiates calm energy outward. Calmness also thrives in gratitude. When you focus on what's going well instead of what's missing, your energy softens. Gratitude shifts your attention from worry to appreciation. It quiets mental noise and brings perspective. Every day, take a moment to notice small things: a quiet morning, a kind word, a good meal. These moments build inner peace. Over time, gratitude becomes a natural part of your thinking, and your overall energy becomes lighter and more grounded. People feel more comfortable around those who carry gratitude because their presence feels positive and accepting. When you live with calm energy, your interactions change. You no longer feel the need to argue, prove, or rush. You communicate more clearly and listen more deeply. You become patient with differences. You treat others with respect, not because they always deserve it, but because your peace is more valuable than their chaos. This self-mastery earns admiration. People trust you because they see consistency. They know that your emotions won't swing wildly from day to day. They can count on your steadiness, and that reliability becomes one of your greatest strengths. Calm energy doesn't mean life stops being challenging. It means you stop letting challenges control your state of mind. You learn to move through tension with grace. You develop resilience that others can feel. When things go wrong, you don't collapse, you adapt. You maintain clarity even when others panic. You learn to respond thoughtfully instead of emotionally. This ability to remain centered is not just attractive, it's transformative. It improves every area of your life: relationships, work, health, and peace of mind. Over time, calmness becomes your natural rhythm. You stop chasing control and start embodying it. You begin to see that power doesn't always come from force, it comes from balance. People around you feel lighter because your energy doesn't compete, it harmonizes. You become the person others turn to for guidance, not because you fix their problems, but because your calmness reminds them they can fix their own. That is the essence of silent influence: to bring peace into chaos, to radiate steadiness in uncertainty, and to make the world around you a little calmer simply by being who you are. Chapter 7. Build emotional control that shows strength and maturity. Emotional control is the ability to stay steady when your feelings try to take over. It is one of the clearest signs of strength and maturity because it shows that you lead yourself instead of being led by impulses. Most people believe emotions just happen, that they have no control over them, but in truth, emotions are messages, not masters. You cannot stop them from arising, but you can choose how you respond to them. That choice between reaction and response is where true power lives. When you build emotional control, you move through life with more clarity, more confidence, and more peace. You stop being pulled in every direction by anger, fear, or frustration. Instead, you become the calm center of your own life. Emotional maturity doesn't mean suppressing your feelings or pretending they don't exist. It means understanding them, giving them space, and guiding them instead of letting them guide you. When something provokes you, you feel the rush inside, the tightening of your chest, the quickening of your breath, the racing of your thoughts. That's the moment where maturity begins. Instead of exploding or withdrawing, you pause. You notice what's happening. You name the emotion: anger, disappointment, sadness, embarrassment. When you identify it, you separate yourself from it. You are no longer the emotion, you are the observer of it. That small awareness gives you freedom to choose your next move instead of being ruled by the intensity of the moment. Control is not about coldness, it's about balance. It's knowing how to express what you feel in a way that builds, not destroys. People with strong emotional control don't avoid confrontation, they handle it with calm, clear communication. They can express anger without cruelty and disappointment without bitterness. They can stand up for themselves without losing composure. That's what makes emotional control so powerful. It allows you to stay kind without being weak and strong without being harsh. It shows that you have mastered the art of directing your emotions toward understanding instead of chaos. The process of building emotional control starts with awareness of your triggers. Everyone has specific situations or words that ignite strong reactions. Maybe it's being disrespected, ignored, or misunderstood. When you know your triggers, you prepare for them. You can plan how you want to respond instead of getting caught off guard. Most emotional outbursts happen because people react before they even understand what's bothering them. But once you know your triggers, you can slow down the cycle. You can remind yourself that the emotion is temporary, that it doesn't define the moment, and that reacting impulsively rarely helps. That awareness gives you the upper hand over yourself. The next step is learning to pause before reacting. That pause is your power. It can be a deep breath, a silent count to 5, or a moment of silence before you speak. That pause gives your rational mind time to catch up with your emotions. It creates a small space where you can think clearly and act with purpose. The more you practice it, the stronger your control becomes. Over time, that pause will become natural. You'll start noticing that you no longer respond with the same intensity to things that used to upset you. You'll still feel emotion, but you won't be consumed by it. That's the sign of growth, when the same situation no longer has the same power over you. To master emotional control, you must also learn emotional honesty. Many people suppress their feelings to look calm on the outside, but that only builds pressure inside. True control means acknowledging what you feel without letting it dominate your behavior. You can admit, "I'm angry right now," or "I'm disappointed," without exploding or withdrawing. By being honest, you process the emotion instead of burying it. Repressed feelings always resurface later, often in worse ways. Controlled expression is healthier and stronger. It shows maturity because you are dealing with reality, not hiding from it. Another part of emotional control is self-compassion. You will make mistakes. You will lose your temper sometimes. You will overreact. What matters is how you handle yourself afterward. Blaming yourself endlessly keeps you stuck. Learn from each moment. Reflect on what triggered you, how you responded, and what you can do differently next time. Emotional control is built through repetition, not perfection. Each time you choose patience over impulse, you strengthen your emotional muscles. Over time, what once felt like a battle becomes second nature. You grow quieter, steadier, and more unshakable. Emotional control also involves separating facts from stories. When something upsets you, your mind often creates narratives that make the situation worse. For example, if someone ignores your message, your mind might say, "They don't respect me," or "I'm not important." But the truth might be that they were busy or distracted. Emotional maturity means pausing before believing those stories. It means questioning your own thoughts. Is this real, or is this my interpretation? By doing so, you protect yourself from unnecessary pain. Most emotional suffering comes not from what happens, but from what we tell ourselves about what happens. To develop stronger emotional control, practice grounding yourself in the present moment. When you feel a surge of emotion, shift your focus to your senses. Notice what you see, hear, or feel. This brings you back to reality and helps you break the emotional loop in your head. You remind yourself that you're safe and that this moment will pass. Grounding is not about ignoring emotions. It's about returning to stability so you can deal with them from strength, not panic. The more you ground yourself during difficult times, the easier it becomes to maintain peace even under stress. Another key element of emotional control is perspective. When emotions rise, your mind often zooms in on one detail, making it seem bigger than it is. Perspective pulls you back to see the full picture. Ask yourself, will this matter in a week, a month, or a year? Most of the time, it won't. This question reduces emotional intensity instantly. It reminds you that most problems are temporary, that not every battle is worth fighting, and that peace is often more valuable than being right. People with perspective stay calm because they understand that emotions are fleeting but consequences are lasting. Calmness in the face of strong emotion is one of the most respected traits a person can have. It doesn't make you passive, it makes you powerful. You become the kind of person others look to when things go wrong because they know you won't add fuel to the fire. You bring balance where others bring panic. This calm leadership is not about dominance, it's about steadiness. When you can handle your own emotions, you earn the ability to influence others positively. People feel safe around you because your energy is predictable, stable, and centered. That kind of influence cannot be faked, it's earned through consistent inner discipline. Building emotional control also requires self-respect. When you respect yourself, you refuse to let others dictate your emotions. You don't allow anyone's words or actions to rob you of peace. You recognize that giving away your calm is giving away your power. People who easily lose control often end up regretting it. They apologize for words spoken in anger or decisions made in frustration. Emotional maturity means you think before acting because you know your peace is more valuable than a temporary reaction. You choose not to be baited into negativity. You choose stillness because it serves you better. Patience is another vital part of emotional control. Life doesn't always move at your pace, and people won't always meet your expectations. When you cultivate patience, you free yourself from the stress of trying to control everything. You accept that timing is not always in your hands. This acceptance creates peace. It shows emotional maturity because it demonstrates that you understand how life unfolds naturally. You stop forcing outcomes and start trusting the process. Patience teaches you to respond wisely instead of react quickly. It teaches you endurance, which is the foundation of emotional strength. Developing emotional control also means letting go of the need to win every argument. Maturity is knowing that peace is more valuable than proving a point. You don't need to respond to every insult or defend yourself against every misunderstanding. Some things are better left unanswered. Silence, at the right moment, is a display of immense strength. It shows that you're not controlled by pride or ego. You understand that not every reaction deserves your energy. You choose peace because it preserves your dignity. Over time, this choice builds deep confidence, the kind that doesn't need validation from others. Emotional control transforms relationships. It allows you to communicate without turning disagreements into conflicts. It helps you listen without interrupting and speak without attacking. It builds trust because people know where they stand with you. They don't have to fear unpredictable reactions. When you're emotionally steady, others open up more easily. They know that even if you disagree, you will do so respectfully. This kind of emotional maturity strengthens every bond because it replaces tension with understanding. The journey to emotional control is lifelong. There will always be moments that test your patience, humility, and composure. But each challenge is an opportunity to strengthen your inner foundation. Every time you choose calmness over chaos, you move closer to mastery. You stop being reactive and start being intentional. You stop fighting your emotions and start using them as guides. That's what real strength looks like, not in suppression, but in regulation. It's the quiet power of knowing that no matter what happens, you can trust yourself to handle it with grace. When you reach that level of emotional control, you stop being easily shaken by life. You begin to embody stability in everything you do. People sense it in your voice, in your decisions, and in your presence. You no longer waste energy on arguments that don't matter or on emotions that drain you. Instead, you invest your energy in growth, peace, and clarity. That's the kind of strength that doesn't fade. That's the kind of maturity that inspires others to find their own calm. And in that quiet mastery of your emotions, you discover one of life's greatest freedoms, the power to be unbothered, grounded, and deeply at peace within yourself. Chapter 8. Practice self-discipline daily to radiate quiet confidence. Self-discipline is the foundation of quiet confidence. It is the invisible structure that holds your life together when motivation fades, when distractions tempt you, and when no one is watching. Every person who seems calm, stable, and self-assured has built that strength through discipline. It's not about perfection or punishment. It's about consistency. It's the ability to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. Discipline is how you prove to yourself that you can be trusted, that you can rely on your own word, and that your actions align with your goals. When that alignment becomes a habit, confidence follows naturally, not the loud kind that demands recognition, but the quiet kind that radiates from within. Daily self-discipline begins with small choices. It's in how you start your morning, how you manage your time, how you talk to yourself, and how you respond to challenges. It's not about doing everything perfectly, it's about doing something consistently. Each small act of discipline, waking up on time, finishing what you start, exercising when you're tired, teaches your mind that you are in control. Over time, that control becomes internal power. You stop depending on moods, and you start depending on systems. That shift changes everything because discipline turns chaos into order, and order builds peace. People feel that peace in your presence. It's what makes your confidence look effortless. Most people wait for motivation to begin, but motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes depending on how you feel. Discipline doesn't wait, it acts. It's the part of you that moves even when the emotion is gone. Discipline is commitment in motion. The moment you stop relying on temporary motivation and start building daily habits, your growth becomes unstoppable. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you strengthen your sense of self-respect. That self-respect becomes the root of quiet confidence. You don't need to talk about your goals or prove your worth to anyone because your consistency speaks louder than words ever could. Self-discipline is not built overnight. It's developed through repetition and structure. You train it the same way you train a muscle, by showing up daily and pushing through resistance. You start with one area of your life, one small habit that matters. It might be waking up early, reading every morning, or keeping your space organized. The habit itself isn't as important as the commitment behind it. The purpose is to train your mind to follow through, to honor your own decisions. Once that discipline takes root, it spreads naturally into other areas. You start eating better, managing time better, and handling stress better. It all connects, because discipline in one part of life builds strength in every other part. There's a kind of freedom that only disciplined people experience. When you're disciplined, you stop negotiating with yourself. You don't waste time debating whether to do what's necessary, you simply do it. That clarity removes stress and indecision. Most anxiety comes from knowing what you should do, but not doing it. Discipline eliminates that gap between intention and action. You feel lighter, more in control, because your actions align with your priorities. People around you can sense that consistency. They feel that you move with purpose, and that calm direction becomes attractive in a quiet but undeniable way. To practice self-discipline, you must first understand your why. You need a clear reason for what you're doing, something meaningful enough to anchor you when it gets hard. Discipline without purpose becomes mechanical and empty. But when your actions are tied to a vision, better health, deeper peace, stronger relationships, discipline turns into devotion. Each act becomes a step toward the life you're building. That sense of purpose makes even simple tasks meaningful. You stop seeing them as chores and start seeing them as choices that strengthen your future self. Discipline also requires boundaries. You must learn to say no to what weakens you, no to distractions, no to excuses, and no to the habits that pull you away from your goals. Each time you say no to something unnecessary, you say yes to growth. The modern world is designed to steal your focus, to keep you busy but not productive. Discipline is your defense against that chaos. It's what allows you to stay steady when everyone else is scattered. You create structure in your day's time to work, time to rest, time to grow. That structure gives your mind peace because it knows what to expect. Without discipline, every day feels uncertain. With it, every day moves you forward. The hardest part of discipline is not starting, it's continuing. Anyone can begin with excitement, but true strength shows when enthusiasm fades. There will be days when you feel unmotivated, tired, or bored. Discipline is what keeps you going then. It's not glamorous, but it's transformative. It's in those quiet, ordinary moments when you choose focus over distraction, responsibility over comfort that you build your character. That's where quiet confidence grows. You don't need applause because you've learned to be proud of your effort, not the outcome. You've learned that the real victory is showing up every day, regardless of how you feel. Discipline also builds mental resilience. When you practice doing difficult things regularly, you train your mind to handle discomfort. You stop running from challenges because you've built tolerance for them. Most people give up not because they're incapable, but because they can't sit with discomfort. Discipline teaches you that discomfort is temporary, but regret lasts longer. Each time you push through resistance, you expand your limits. You begin to trust your ability to handle whatever comes. That trust turns into calm confidence. You no longer fear challenges because you've proven that you can face them and win quietly, without drama or doubt. One of the greatest forms of self-discipline is keeping your word to yourself. If you say you'll do something, do it. It doesn't matter if it's big or small, follow through. Every time you break a promise to yourself, your confidence weakens. You begin to doubt your own reliability. But every time you follow through, your confidence grows stronger because you reinforce the belief that you can count on yourself. That internal trust is the foundation of self-respect. And self-respect is the essence of quiet confidence. When you know that your word means something, you carry yourself differently. You move through the world with assurance because you've built credibility with the one person who matters most to you. Discipline also influences how you handle setbacks. When you're undisciplined, failure feels personal, it discourages you. But when you're disciplined, failure becomes feedback. You see it as part of the process, not a reason to quit. You adjust, learn, and keep moving forward. Discipline teaches emotional endurance. You understand that progress isn't always visible, but consistency always pays off eventually. This long-term mindset protects your peace. You stop chasing instant results and start focusing on building a solid foundation. People who operate from this mindset have a calm strength about them because they know they're always improving, even when no one is watching. To maintain daily discipline, you need routines that support your focus. Morning routines are especially powerful because they set the tone for the entire day. Start with habits that anchor you: stretching, journaling, meditation, or reading. These moments remind your mind who's in charge. Even small acts like making your bed or drinking water before coffee signal order. They tell your brain, I'm in control. Over time, this structure builds mental clarity. You begin your day prepared instead of reactive, and that readiness influences how you handle everything that follows. Each disciplined morning strengthens your sense of stability. Discipline also involves rest. Many people confuse discipline with non-stop work, but that leads to burnout, not growth. True discipline knows when to push and when to pause. It's about balance, giving your best effort while respecting your limits. Resting when needed is not weakness. It's wisdom. A disciplined person values recovery because they understand that sustainable progress comes from rhythm, not force. When your life has balance, your energy stays calm and consistent. That calmness radiates quiet strength. It's the confidence of someone who knows how to manage both effort and ease. Another part of daily discipline is controlling your environment. The spaces you live and work in affect your mindset. A cluttered space creates mental noise, an organized one supports focus. Take time to keep your surroundings clean and orderly. It's not about perfection, it's about clarity. Your environment should reflect your goals, not distract from them. The more disciplined your environment, the easier it is to stay disciplined mentally. Every decision you make about your space either supports your calm or disrupts it. Choose order, because order builds peace, and peace amplifies confidence. Over time, practicing self-discipline daily transforms your entire energy. You become more patient, more grounded, and more self-assured. You stop relying on external validation because your consistency is proof of your strength. Quiet confidence is not about what others see. It's about how you feel about yourself when you know you've done the work. That calm, steady confidence cannot be faked because it's built on effort, integrity, and persistence. It shows in how you walk, how you speak, and how you carry yourself. When you live with daily discipline, you no longer need to chase confidence, it radiates from you naturally. People sense your inner structure, your stability, your commitment to growth. They see that you live with purpose and self-control, and that inspires respect. The quiet power of discipline is that it speaks for you. You don't need to announce your strength, your presence communicates it. Every small, consistent act of discipline shapes you into someone who doesn't just look confident, you are confident. And that kind of confidence, born from daily self-respect and quiet effort, is the kind that never fades. Chapter 9. Respect yourself deeply to command natural admiration. Self-respect is the core of true confidence. It's the quiet belief that you deserve good things because you've earned them, not because you've been handed them. It's not about arrogance or pride, it's about living in a way that honors your values, your time, and your worth. When you respect yourself deeply, people feel it before you ever speak. It shows in your decisions, your tone, and your energy. You no longer have to demand admiration or attention. It comes naturally because others can sense that you treat yourself with dignity. Respecting yourself is not about ego, it's about standards. And standards are what silently shape your entire life. The way you see yourself sets the tone for how the world sees you. If you carry yourself as someone worthy of respect, others mirror that belief. But if you tolerate mistreatment, neglect, or disrespect, people follow your lead. Self-respect teaches the world how to treat you. It's not about control, it's about boundaries. When you set limits around what you will and won't accept, you create an invisible line that protects your peace. You stop allowing people to take more than they give, to speak to you without care, or to cross into your emotional space without permission. Boundaries are not walls, they are filters that keep out what weakens your spirit. The more you enforce them, the stronger your sense of self becomes. Respecting yourself also means living with integrity. It means doing the right thing, even when no one is watching, even when it's hard, and even when it doesn't immediately reward you. Integrity builds inner peace. When your actions align with your beliefs, you sleep well at night. You don't have to hide, pretend, or explain yourself. That harmony between your words and your behavior creates quiet confidence. People may not always agree with you, but they will always sense authenticity. Integrity gives you stability. It anchors you when life gets unpredictable. It tells you that you can trust yourself, and that self-trust is the foundation of deep respect. A major part of self-respect is keeping your promises to others, yes, but especially to yourself. Each time you commit to something and follow through, you build personal credibility. You start to see yourself as someone reliable, someone capable. But every time you break your own word, your confidence weakens. You begin to doubt your own strength. That's why keeping promises to yourself is sacred. It's how you build internal authority. Whether it's a promise to eat healthier, to work toward a goal, or to walk away from what harms you, each time you follow through, you tell your mind, "I can count on me." That trust is what transforms self-respect from theory into reality. To respect yourself, you must also take care of yourself, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. It's easy to think of self-care as indulgence, but true self-care is discipline. It's eating well, sleeping enough, keeping your space clean, managing your time, and saying no when something drains you. Taking care of yourself is a message to your subconscious that you matter. You don't skip meals, ignore rest, or surround yourself with negativity because you know your well-being is worth protecting. People who treat themselves with care radiate quiet strength because their actions prove that they value their existence. When you carry that energy, people notice. They sense that you have standards and that you won't settle for less than respect. Respecting yourself also means valuing your time. Time is life's most precious resource, and how you use it reflects how much you value yourself. When you give your time to people or activities that don't serve your growth, you're telling yourself that your energy has no direction. But when you protect your time, when you use it intentionally for growth, connection, or rest, you show yourself that your life has meaning. You start to move with purpose instead of wandering aimlessly. That purpose is what draws people to you. It creates a sense of importance and clarity that others can feel. People naturally admire those who live deliberately because it shows discipline and vision. Self-respect also shows in how you handle mistakes. People with deep self-respect don't destroy themselves over failure. They take responsibility, learn, and move forward. They understand that one mistake doesn't define them. That understanding comes from maturity. When you respect yourself, you allow yourself to be human. You accept flaws without letting them become excuses. You know when to forgive yourself and when to hold yourself accountable. This balance keeps you strong and grounded. Others notice that steadiness because it's rare. They see someone who is honest about their imperfections but never lets those imperfections become an identity. That kind of self-awareness inspires trust and admiration. Respect for yourself also means being selective about your environment, the people you keep close, the places you spend time in, and the energy you allow around you. When you have self-respect, you don't chase approval from people who drain you. You surround yourself with those who challenge you, support you, and encourage your growth. You don't stay where you're merely tolerated. You go where you're valued. This choice doesn't come from pride, it comes from understanding that the energy around you shapes the energy within you. When you choose peace and quality over noise and quantity, your presence becomes more powerful. You no longer blend in. You begin to stand out quietly, through calm confidence and clarity of purpose. Another aspect of self-respect is how you speak to yourself. The voice in your head has immense power. If you constantly criticize, compare, or belittle yourself, you'll carry that insecurity into every interaction. But when you speak to yourself with encouragement and honesty, you nurture strength. You stop saying, "I can't," and start saying, "I will learn." You stop seeking perfection and start appreciating progress. That internal kindness builds resilience. You become more patient with yourself, and by extension, more patient with others. The way you treat yourself sets the tone for how you treat the world. When you speak to yourself with respect, your energy becomes lighter and more centered. People feel that calm assurance and respond to it with admiration. To cultivate deep self-respect, you must also know your values. Without clear values, you drift. You say yes when you mean no. You stay silent when you should speak, and you compromise too easily. Knowing your values gives you direction. It reminds you what matters most: honesty, peace, loyalty, or growth, and it helps you make decisions that align with those principles. Every choice you make from your values reinforces your self-respect. You no longer seek validation from others because you have an internal compass. Even when people disagree with you, you stand firm because you know why you made your choice. That certainty earns quiet admiration, not through force, but through clarity. Self-respect also means not lowering your standards out of fear of being alone or misunderstood. Many people compromise their values to fit in or keep relationships, but deep down, that always creates regret. When you respect yourself, you stop settling. You realize that solitude is better than connection. Without respect, you become comfortable with being alone because your company no longer feels empty. You fill your own space with purpose, growth, and peace. That independence makes you magnetic because people can feel that you don't need them to feel complete. You choose them because they align with your peace. That choice gives your presence power, and that power earns admiration effortlessly. True self-respect also involves emotional restraint. When you respect yourself, you don't allow anger or insecurity to dictate your behavior. You don't seek revenge, gossip, or attention. You carry yourself with composure, even when disrespected, because you know that your reaction speaks louder than their behavior. Maturity is the ability to walk away from what doesn't deserve your energy. You don't waste words trying to prove your worth, you simply live it. People can sense that kind of emotional control. It makes them view you as someone who can be trusted, someone whose silence holds more meaning than another's shouting. That quiet strength earns respect naturally. It doesn't need to ask for it. Respecting yourself deeply is also about gratitude. When you're grateful for who you are, what you have, and how far you've come, you carry a humble kind of pride. You stop chasing validation because you already feel complete. You stop comparing your life to others because you understand that your path is your own. Gratitude gives your energy softness without weakness. It balances confidence with humility. You become approachable but grounded, kind but firm. People admire that balance because it's rare. It shows that you are comfortable in your skin, that you don't need to prove anything to feel valuable. Over time, deep self-respect transforms your entire aura. You stop reacting to negativity, you stop chasing approval, and you stop doubting your worth. You move with calm assurance, you speak with intention, and you treat others with kindness because you've learned to treat yourself well. This kind of energy is magnetic. It pulls people in without effort. You command admiration not because you demand it, but because you embody it. You show through your behavior that dignity, integrity, and peace are non-negotiable. You become someone who doesn't seek respect, you inspire it. When you respect yourself deeply, everything in your life changes. You start attracting opportunities that match your values, relationships that nurture your peace, and experiences that help you grow. You stop living for recognition and start living for alignment. You realize that admiration isn't something you chase, it's something you earn through quiet consistency and self-honor. People are drawn to those who respect themselves because that kind of self-assurance reminds them of what they're capable of. You don't need to be loud or perfect. You just need to stand firm in your worth, live by your values, and move with calm confidence. That is how you command admiration not through noise, but through presence. Chapter 10. Lead with actions that earn respect without needing attention. Real leadership doesn't come from titles, attention, or control. It comes from quiet consistency. It comes from being the kind of person who does what's right, even when nobody's watching. Leading with actions means you show integrity, responsibility, and discipline without the need to announce it. People respect what they see more than what they hear. Words can be persuasive, but actions prove character. When your behavior aligns with your values, people naturally begin to trust you. They feel that you live what you say, and that creates a level of respect that cannot be forced. Real leaders never demand respect. They earn it through daily behavior, humility, and reliability. Leadership that doesn't seek attention has a special kind of power. It doesn't compete. It doesn't shout for validation. It simply moves forward with purpose, letting results speak louder than words. When you act with intention and consistency, your work becomes your reputation. You don't have to tell anyone who you are, they can see it. You stand out, not because you try to, but because your discipline and character make you noticeable in a world full of talkers. There is something magnetic about people who carry out their responsibilities quietly and well. They are respected not for their noise, but for their steadiness. To lead with actions, you must begin with accountability. You take ownership of your choices, both good and bad. When something goes wrong, you don't blame others or make excuses. You face the situation honestly, learn from it, and make things right. Accountability builds trust faster than perfection ever could. People don't expect you to never fail. They expect you to be honest when you do. Owning your mistakes shows strength and humility. It shows that your ego doesn't control you. And when others see that you take responsibility calmly, they start to respect you because you represent reliability in a world where many run from responsibility. Leadership through action also means setting a standard through consistency. You don't show up only when it's easy or convenient. You show up because it's who you are. You keep promises, follow through, and deliver results even when nobody notices. Consistency is a rare form of credibility. When people can rely on you repeatedly, your presence becomes steady ground for them. They know that if you say you'll do something, it will be done. That predictability earns trust, and trust is the foundation of every form of respect. To lead without seeking attention, you must let go of the need for validation. You don't measure your worth by recognition or applause. You measure it by alignment with your principles. People who constantly seek attention act to be seen. People who act with purpose do it because it's right. When you no longer crave validation, you become free to focus on excellence. You work for progress, not for praise. And that quiet commitment makes your influence last longer because it's built on substance, not performance. Those who lead for attention burn out quickly. Those who lead for meaning create legacies. Another part of leadership through action is the ability to inspire by example. You don't preach values, you live them. You don't talk about discipline, you practice it. You don't demand respect, you model it. The best way to influence others is to show them what's possible, not to tell them what to do. People follow authenticity. When they see that you're willing to do the work, make sacrifices, and stay consistent without needing recognition, they naturally begin to emulate that energy. You become a mirror of what's possible, not through force, but through presence. Leading with actions also requires humility. You must be willing to learn, to admit when you don't know something, and to grow continuously. Humility keeps leadership grounded. It prevents arrogance from taking over. People trust those who remain teachable, no matter how experienced or successful they are. Humility doesn't mean diminishing yourself. It means being honest about your limits while remaining confident in your strengths. That balance of confidence and openness is what makes others respect you deeply. They see that your power doesn't come from ego, but from awareness. Patience is another key to leading without attention. In a world obsessed with instant gratification, patience shows emotional maturity. You understand that real growth takes time and that real results require persistence. You don't rush progress just to be noticed, you focus on quality. Patience demonstrates control, It shows that you can stay focused, even when others are distracted. People naturally respect those who can maintain direction without being consumed by urgency or pressure. Your calm, patience in pursuit of your goals becomes a quiet form of leadership that others instinctively look up to. To lead with actions, you must also learn to listen more than you speak. Leadership is not about dominating conversations, it's about understanding people. When you listen attentively, you make others feel valued and heard. That builds trust and respect faster than speeches ever could. Listening gives you insight into what people need, what they fear, and what motivates them. The more you understand others, the more effectively you can guide and influence them. The quiet power of a good listener often outweighs the authority of the loudest speaker. Another part of action-based leadership is emotional stability. You stay calm under pressure, not because you feel nothing, but because you manage your emotions wisely. You respond instead of reacting. When challenges arise, you think clearly and act with reason instead of frustration. People follow calm energy because it makes them feel safe. When they see you hold your composure during storms, they begin to trust your leadership deeply. Emotional steadiness communicates strength. It says, "I can handle this," without ever needing to say it aloud. That kind of quiet confidence attracts admiration naturally. Leadership through action also requires fairness. You treat people with respect, regardless of status, opinion, or background. You give credit where it's due, and you don't take advantage of others to get ahead. Fairness creates loyalty. When people know you are just and consistent, they feel safe around you. They know that you won't manipulate or betray them for personal gain. Fairness is the kind of integrity that builds strong, long-lasting relationships, whether in personal life or professional settings. People remember how you made them feel, and fairness always leaves a good impression. True leaders understand that actions have ripple effects. Every choice, every tone, every small gesture influences others, whether you notice it or not. That's why they move with intention. They know that their behavior sets an example, not only for those who admire them, but also for those who criticize them. They don't act differently in private than they do in public. That consistency builds respect even from those who disagree with them. When you live by principles, not convenience, people may not always like you, but they will always respect you. Leading through action also means valuing results over recognition. You focus on doing the work, not being seen doing it. You understand that true success doesn't need to be broadcasted. It speaks for itself. You take pride in the process, not the applause. When recognition comes, you receive it with humility and continue working. When it doesn't, you keep going anyway. That detachment from validation keeps you powerful because your motivation stays internal. People respect those who don't depend on attention to stay committed. It shows they operate from purpose, not ego. A quiet leader also knows the value of service. Leadership isn't about being above others, it's about lifting others. When your actions help people grow, when you support them without expectation, your influence deepens. People remember generosity far more than authority. You can't demand loyalty, you earn it by showing care and respect. Service-based leadership means guiding others while still seeing them as equals. It's about helping them find strength in themselves, not making them dependent on yours. That kind of leadership builds admiration that lasts long after words fade. The discipline of leading by example is built one day at a time. It's in showing up early, doing your work thoroughly, treating others kindly, and standing by your principles even when no one notices. It's in the way you carry yourself, how you handle criticism, and how you treat people who can't do anything for you. Each act of integrity adds to your strength. Over time, people begin to see you as someone solid, someone who doesn't talk about leadership but embodies it naturally. They respect you not for what you say, but for how you live. The most respected people in life are rarely the loudest. They don't chase fame or approval. They focus on impact. Their quiet consistency, their reliability, and their discipline speak volumes. They don't need attention because they've already earned credibility. They move through life with purpose, humility, and steadiness. That kind of presence doesn't fade because it's not built on trends or opinions. It's built on character. When you lead with actions, you show people what respect looks like. You don't tell them how to behave, you model it. You don't ask for loyalty, you earn it. You don't need to be admired loudly, you're admired quietly by those who value authenticity. Leading with actions is not about being perfect. It's about being consistent, humble, and real. It's about being someone whose word means something and whose actions match it every time. That is how you create a legacy, not through noise, but through integrity. The respect that comes from that cannot be bought or demanded. It's freely given by those who see your example and feel inspired to rise to that same standard.